And so she's eating all this stuff up, she's downloading it, and that's something that I never had as a kid. So that's really what excites me, knowing that inadvertently creating generational wealth just by doing the things I'm doing, and it's a beautiful thing.
For some people, debt can feel like an incredible weight on your shoulders, and after carrying this weight for a while, there comes a time when you say, I'm done with this. On our debt-free segment today, we're going to interview Q from Chicago. Recently, Q and his wife, Kara, became debt-free after paying off over $30,000 of debt in 4 years. Today, we're going to learn how they accomplished this family financial goal and what they're doing with their money now. Welcome to the show, Q.
Thanks for having me, Andy. Glad to be here, man. Like I said, you gave me something to do on this beautiful Tuesday, and I'm always down to talk. I'm always down to talk about
Absolutely.
money.
There you go, man. Oh, you got the right place then, because I'm always down too. Let's talk about your motivation for doing this wild family financial goal of becoming debt free. Why did you want to become debt free?
So it's funny. I tell people the same thing every time. It's super simple. My girlfriend yelled at me, right? Just that one sentence. My then girlfriend, now fiance, yelled at me. In short, but ultimately, I just wasn't bringing enough to the table. I thought I was an adult, right? Me and my girlfriend decided to move in together. And when we moved in together, you got a little more bills than living at home with your parents. So I didn't calculate everything properly. And I came up short on the rent 2 months in a row. The first month she said, "Oh, it's no big deal. I'll give me back next time when you got the money." The second month I came up short. She nipped it in the bud, like, "All right, I'm not your personal ATM. I'm not your parent. It don't seem like you're ready. You keep coming up short. I ain't gonna keep covering you. So you got to make a choice. Either figure it out, or we're gonna have to figure something out else in the future, because I'm not dealing with this." And I was like, she got a point. She got a point. So I had to turn it up, man. I had to do something different because what I was doing clearly wasn't working.
Yeah. So you had money coming in, but it just wasn't enough to take care of what you needed to take care of. Is that where the paying off the debt came into the picture, where you're saying, "Hey, I need to create a little more wiggle room between what I've got coming in and what I've got going out"?
Yeah, because that's exactly what it was. Like, I had the stable job. I had been employed for 10 years at my previous employer. So I always had the money coming in, but the debt and everything else I was dealing with, and the fact that I didn't have bills living with my parents, I was able to do what I wanted to do in my parents' house. But when you're on your own and you're an adult and you got groceries and you got insurance and you got all these other things, I was just coming up short, and I had to really dissect where the heck my money was going and what I was going to do to increase that income.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. What kind of debt did you have at that period of time?
So personal loan, I had $500 that I owed to a friend. I had medical bills. I had a bank charge off of about 1,300, and then the rest was student loans. So 29,000, yeah, roughly 29K with student loans.
Yeah. Yeah, when you got those things out there, especially the student loan, that kind of weighs on you, and it takes up a lot of that extra money that would have been a lot more fun to use and spend for things that we like to use our money for. So let's talk about how you became debt free. What did you do from that point on when you had that epiphany moment, or that kick in the pants moment where you said it's time to do some stuff? What did you do to become debt free?
I kid you not. I didn't know who to turn to, what to look to, other than our trusted friend Google, right? So I hopped on Google. I typed in "how to get out of debt," enter. And that's what I did. Of course, the first thing that popped up was like an Investopedia article, but then they mentioned Dave Ramsey. So of course, naturally, I navigated towards Dave Ramsey, and I followed his teachings to the T up until I pretty much didn't need him no more. But that's what I did. Typed in "how to get out of debt," found Dave Ramsey, and then followed the 7 baby steps up until about baby step 4. And then I started doing my own thing after that. But that's what it did. I looked it up, picked up an extra job almost instantly, called the creditors back, seeing what loans I can reinstate, seeing how to go about every step possible to clean up my situation, right? So I was just pretty much taking the next best step and doing the best I could every day.
I love that. So I also found Dave a while ago. He helped me out quite a bit as well with our debt situation, especially getting rid of my student loans, which I ended up paying for my fiance's engagement ring with my student loans, which is a bad idea. Nobody should do that. But he definitely helped me out with getting out of our situation. Talk to us about this extra work you did and how that sort of helped you make the process go a little faster.
Okay, so I was working at a dealership originally, so I was in a detail washing cars, whatever. So I was getting tips as well. So there was 2 forms there, and then I started picking up all the OT that they offered. So if they wanted me to stay a little bit later, I jump on it. So I'm doing OT at the one job. So I'm turning one job into 3 streams. And then I picked up a second part-time job at a rec center, which was about a mile away from my original job. So I can just get off the one job, jump right over to the next job. That way I don't have to travel too much. I could just get it and then go back home. But the rec center garnered me an extra 12 to 13K. So that took me from 18,000. That's another thing I want to mention. I started off only making 18 grand, man. I was 18K. The second job got me right at what's that, 31,000, and I just kept increasing over time. So I would do OT at the first job, OT at the second job, and just getting real scrappy with it.
I love it, man. That is a great way to get out of the problems, is adding a little bit more money onto your plate to help you clean that up. Now, I understood this happened over a period of time in your life, because when I watched your YouTube video of you crushing the student loan for a moment, you all of a sudden had a child in front of you. Talk to me about how becoming a dad maybe changed things for you a little bit too.
Dude, that multiplied and amplified things probably 10x, if I'm being honest. Like, you thought my girlfriend put a fire under me. When we found out we were expecting, that really, like, I don't know what happened. Something inside of me flipped and was just like, okay, I really got to go crazy now, because it's going to be even more difficult once she gets here. So I decided to get more scrappy, right? So I ditched those 2 jobs I was working, and then I found another job. So I started applying elsewhere in the process, and I found a job that I'm currently working at now that pays 4 times more than I was getting at both of those jobs. So that turned me up, man. That I can't even explain it. Even to this day, my daughter will be almost 3 here in November. And every time I look at her, I'm just like, you don't even know what you did for me or what you're doing for me.
I love that. Yeah, there's no better motivation than when you bring a human to the world and you're like, okay, it's not just me that I got to take care of. I got to take care of this one too. And it gets you going. Would you agree?
I agree, man. You got to make sure they eat. You got to make sure they're healthy. Doctor's visits. It's so much that comes, like so many financial obligations that comes along with being a parent. And that one thing I don't want to be is an irresponsible parent. So whatever I got to do, I'm gonna do it.
I appreciate that, man. That is a great sentiment, and I'm sure they are going to appreciate it as you continue moving on. Now, so you've done a lot of things. You paid off this debt, and now it didn't stop there. What are some of these post-debt free things that you're doing with your life to kind of build wealth and give your child a better future as well?
Dude, I'm doing everything you can think of. Honestly, that was one thing I took from my debt free journey, because I was very much so gazelle intense, as Dave would put it. And I'm the same way with my investments, because now I'm on the journey to fire. I do plan on retiring no later than the age of 42. I'm well on track to do that. But one of the main things I'm doing is simply investing. So maxing out my Roth IRA every single year, catching sales in the stock market. So if things are down significantly, purchasing those blue chip companies, right? Buying stocks within an individual brokerage account. But I'm also dabbling into real estate. So those are my 3 main methods: is Roth IRA, individual brokerage account, real estate, repeat. Increase
Wow.
my income so that way I can have more money to deploy into assets and investments. So that's the goal, man. I got it on it's pretty much set it and forget it at this point.
I love that. Talk to us about the real estate side of things. We don't often talk about that on the show, and I'm very interested. What are you doing to invest into real estate to help you build your wealth?
So, fun story, I just purchased my very first home, my primary home, which is what I'm in right now. We just closed in March, this past March 17th. And that was something that excited me. We bought right, got the interest rate that, it's been jumped 3 times since we've closed. So we got in at a good time. But I take that as my training wheels. But for now, I'm working with a pool of investors. So me personally, I have only a significant amount of capital, right? I currently only make 70K annual. That's a little bit above average income, but for what I want to do in real estate, that's not enough. So I'm focused on partnerships. So right now I'm doing JVs, which are joint ventures, and working with other investors. So either I'm the boots on the ground for them and I'm getting referral fees or finder's fees, or I'm doing some type of wholesaling or some type of other things to build up my capital so that I can purchase my own things. But mostly focus on syndications right now.
I think that's great. And it sounds like you're learning along the way as well. So these partnerships not only provide you, I guess, an easier way to get into real estate, but you're also just kind of absorbing, some knowledge along the way as well. Is that right?
Yeah, man, you can do it by yourself, but you can go further faster together. I tell people that all the time. Like, we're meant to work together. It's no point of spinning your wheels when you can look at somebody who's either coming back from where you're trying to go or who's done the things that you want to do and collab with them. Maybe you'll have the cash, maybe you'll have the credit, but either way, y'all can benefit from each other if you choose to do so.
I love that. I love that. Q, talk to me. Talk to the person who's listening right now that's saying, man, I don't make that much of an income. I make like you said in the beginning, you were making 18, you brought it up to 30, but they're just feeling so strapped right now. They don't have any room to breathe, but they've got kind of the same sort of debt that you had in your life. Give them a piece of advice on why they can continue moving forward. What would you say to that person who's struggling right now?
I would say get around community. Like I mentioned just previously, working with other people, doing it together and not so that you're so isolated and alone. Like, I started by myself, but I knew once it became unsustainable or I was feeling tired, I was in search of motivation. So what I did was jumped online. They have Facebook groups, they have YouTube where you can just join certain communities, Instagram, etc. And you can just jump on and see people who are doing the same things you're doing and get encouraged and get inspired by their story, and you guys can converse and hold each other accountable. So accountability partners are major. I can't even explain it. Like, I call myself the probably the world's best accountability partner, because not only do I hold myself accountable, but I hold other people accountable. Because if you say you want to do it, you'll do it up until you feel like you're running out of steam, but then you'll stop. But you have to keep going even when you're running out of steam, because at the end of the day, if you quit, you'll never get to that finish line.
I think that's so important. That's a big reason why I like to do these conversations, Q, because we're creating community, but through these conversations and helping inspire other people who are maybe in the same position. Talk to me about what excites you in the next 5 to 10 years of your life. You are on this train of building wealth and creating a future for your family that is amazing. So what excites you? Where are you hoping to go in the next 5 to 10 years?
That's a really good question, man. I've never been asked that, but I have considered. I think I've asked myself that. But what excites me is just the fact that what I'm doing, my kids are watching, right? They're paying close attention to. Like, my daughter has been sitting in my lap for the past 2 years as I create YouTube videos or as I do live streams on IG about finance. So she's eating all this stuff up. She's downloading it. And that's something that I never had as a kid. So that's really what excites me, knowing that I'm inadvertently creating generational wealth just by doing the things I'm doing. And it's a beautiful thing. Like, my daughter can count to 30 off the back of her hand. She knows what every single coin is, penny through quarter. And she understands. Like, I take her to the bank with me. She's went to all of the showings when we were shopping for our first home. And, the home we picked, it was based off her input. So we involve her in all of these things. And it's just, she won't know any other way. She'll never have to say, oh, I didn't learn this in school, because it won't matter. She learned it home. She learned it from home. So that's what excites me, honestly.
Oh, I love it. How old is she again?
She's 2.5. She'll be 3 in November.
I love that, man. She's learning financial independence, financial freedom at 3 years old. That is amazing, Q. Q, you talked about this YouTube channel. You talked about the education that you're providing out there. Tell people where they can find you and learn more from you.
So I'm all over the interwebs. Honestly, I actually just created a Twitter. So I'm on Twitter, Q Makes It Happen. Instagram, Q Makes It Happen. YouTube, Q Makes It Happen. The only thing I'm missing is a QMakesItHappen.com, but that's coming soon.
Awesome. I really enjoyed Q's YouTube channel as well for a couple of years now. We've been connected. We both got a part of a giving challenge, I think it was a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And I was very inspired what he shared. And again, talk about community. Q is definitely making it happen. So Q, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you too, Andy, man. Appreciate it. Anytime, man. You reach out to me, I'll reach out to you. I'm working on a podcast myself, so I'd love to have you as a guest in the future.
I'm down. Thank you. I appreciate it.